So yesterday we talked about how this criminal piece of shit in the White House is trying to, or was trying to set up a meeting with Putin to discuss a negotiated end to the Russia-Ukraine war. And it's obvious to everyone that this is going to be a complete sellout of Ukraine, because Donald Trump has always been, is, and always will be Vladimir Putin's bitch, for whatever the reason, and there's lots of speculation as to why that is. Donald Trump has been doing everything he can since he took office to end this war in a way that gives Putin everything that he wants, right? So we all know this. And we all know that any deal that Trump and Putin come up with, which notably doesn't even include the other party to the war, Ukraine, so they're just making a deal between themselves, any such deal would just give Putin everything he wants. Well, now we know that that meeting has been set. I want to read a couple of excerpts from a couple of different articles here, and then I'm going to tell you what I believe that this is all really about. Because when it comes to Trump, seldom is anything what it is presented to be. You can't believe anything that these people say or anything that these people do. It's usually a cover for something else. Anyway, here is an article, from the Wall Street Journal. Headline: Putin tells U.S. he'll halt war in exchange for eastern Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin presented the Trump administration this week with a sweeping proposal for a ceasefire in Ukraine, demanding major territorial concessions by Kyiv and a push for global recognition of its claims in exchange for a halt to the fighting. And by the way, you know damn well, if he got these concessions, he's not going to halt the fighting. He'll continue it. He'll make up some friggin' excuse. Anyway, we know what the game is. President Trump said he would meet with Putin in Alaska on August 15th. So the meeting is set in Alaska. How much you want to bet that Donald Trump gives Alaska back to the Russians? And let's face it, if Putin wants it, his bitch is going to give it to him. So if he tells Trump to give Russia back to me, and then give Alaska back to me, he'll do it. I can see Putin saying it right now. Mr. Trump, Agent Krasnov, you will give Alaska back to Mother Russia. If you do not, I release pee-pee tape. Or maybe I release video of you and Melania and Midget. Oh yes, we know about Midget. You tell Midget to play with orange mushroom. You are sick, sick man. Anyway, so you have Trump meeting with his boss Putin in Alaska on August 15th. Without Ukraine, without anyone from Ukraine representing Ukraine there at the meeting. And what has been Volodymyr Zelensky's response to this? Well, he essentially told Trump to go fuck himself. Here's how it's written in the New York Times. Let me read just a little of this. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine on Saturday flatly rejected the idea that Ukraine could cede land to Russia after President Trump suggested that a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia could include, quote, some swapping of territories. Yeah, bullshit. There'd be no swapping. It would just be Ukraine giving territory to Russia. Russia isn't going to give up anything. Ukrainians, this is Zelensky, quote, Ukrainians will not gift their land to the occupier. Mr. Zelensky said in a video address from his office in Kyiv several hours after Mr. Trump's remarks, which appeared to overlook Ukraine's role in the negotiations. Appeared? Yeah, they're completely cut out of the negotiations by design. Again from Zelensky, quote, "Any decisions made against us, any decisions made without Ukraine, are at the same time decisions against peace. They will bring nothing. These are dead decisions. They will never work." So that is diplomatic speak to Mr. Trump. You can go fuck yourself. So this is dead. This any agreement that comes out of Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska is dead on arrival. Zelensky's already saying, we're not going to abide by this. And other European leaders have also weighed in on this, with their typical sort of wimpy criticisms, but it's clear that they're not supportive of this. And so what's the point of this? If you're going to have this big, high-profile summit meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, any deal that comes out of that meeting is dead on arrival, is going nowhere. Nobody expects any deal to be agreed upon by Ukraine, and so it's pointless. So why go through this? What is this all about? This is about Epstein, guys. That's what this is about. He has tried everything else to distract from Epstein, and nothing has worked. This is just more of the same. But this one is probably going to work, at least to some extent. This is going to get a lot of press coverage. And that's all it's intended to do. I mean, why all of a sudden now? I mean, nothing has happened. Putin has not offered anything. Trump sends Witkoff to talk to Putin, and they say, look, let's pretend that we're in serious negotiations for a deal. We'll even schedule a meeting. It'll make it look like you are pursuing peace. It'll kick the can down the road, so that benefits you. But it also benefits us by taking the attention off of Epstein. This will be like a good 2-week story. So let's just set this meeting. You can make whatever demands you want. Ukraine's not going to agree to anything. But this will serve both of our purposes. So let's just set the meeting. That's what this is about. Trump doesn't fucking care. I mean, because Putin didn't come out and offer anything that anybody expects Ukraine to accept. There's nothing even remotely close to any kind of deal that Ukraine would accept. So it's not about that. It's about Epstein. And I know some people are skeptical that every time something comes up like this, I say, it's about Epstein. People are skeptical. It's kind of an old story. He's not worried about Epstein. He's never going to lose his base and blah, blah. Imagine what Donald Trump might be covering up. Just imagine what his involvement with Epstein may have been. We don't know for sure. We can only speculate. But based upon what we do know, based upon what his reactions have been, how desperately he has tried to change the subject, he's even freaking yelled at his supporters, "Stop talking about Epstein. And anyone who keeps talking about Epstein is not my supporter, and I don't want your support." Guys, that is fucking desperate to be yelling at your supporters like that. That's what he's done. Nothing has worked. Why would he be so desperate that he would yell at his people and say, "I don't want your support anymore"? It's got to be pretty damn bad for him to do all this. What if, for example, and we don't know this, and I'm not making this accusation, what if he did rape children? And there is evidence of that in those files. That is pretty damn bad. Now ask yourself, what would Donald Trump do, or what would he not do? What would he not be willing to do to cover that up? If something like that, something really bad like that, is in those files, then it explains all of his behavior in the last month or so regarding this Epstein situation. And it would clearly explain this pointless, obviously pointless meeting with Putin, because he's tried to distract with every other thing he can think of and nothing has worked. Well, maybe this will work. Let me have a summit meeting with Putin in Alaska. That'll get the press's attention. That'll get him to stop talking about Epstein. Don't fall for it. This thing is dead on arrival. It's a fucking joke. This is not a serious proposal. Ukraine didn't go through everything that they've gone through over the last several years to just give over their territory and hand a complete victory to Vladimir Putin. It's not happening. This is a joke. This is a distraction. That's all it is. Do not fall for it. Besides, by the way, there's another paragraph in here that kind of gives it away. This sentence here, this is from the Wall Street Journal article. Trump said Wednesday the Russian leader's offer wasn't a breakthrough, but was enticing enough to begin organizing the summit meeting. So even Trump knows, they're never going to agree to this. It's not a breakthrough. So it's not a breakthrough, but you're going to have this big summit meeting in Alaska. This is not how these things work. Okay? You don't show up to a summit meeting just to shoot the shit. Okay? These things are carefully choreographed. There's back and forth between the president's staff and Putin's staff and the lower level foreign affairs people. They go back and forth. It's only after you have a deal worked out that you plan a summit meeting. And if the meeting is about ending a war, you don't even have discussions without one of the parties to that war. I mean, that tells you right there this whole thing is a friggin' PR joke. It's not for the reasons we are being told. This is not about ending the war. It's about something else. Because you don't negotiate the end to a war if you don't bring both sides of the war to the table. They're not even trying to do that. And they don't even have a deal worked out between Putin and Trump. They've got nothing. Putin just says, yeah, maybe I'll consider stopping the war if you give me everything that I want. And Russia and Ukraine gives over the territory that I've already occupied and more territory. He even wants territory they haven't occupied yet. And Trump says, oh yeah, well, that's pretty enticing. Let's have a summit meeting. This is not about any of that. This is distraction, pure and simple. This is not how it works. Don't fall for it. This is politics, pure and simple. This is distraction. Trump does not want us talking about Epstein. He wants the issue to go away. He is desperate to go away because he is hiding something really, really bad. What exactly he's trying to hide, I don't know. But I would bet dollars to donuts that it's really fucking bad. And we've already seen what this man will do to get what he wants. He tried to overthrow the country and he incited a violent insurrection against his own government, against the friggin' Congress of the United States, beating police officers. He didn't care if it would get him what he wants. You don't think he'll call a phony summit meeting to distract from what might be hiding in those Epstein files? Of course he would. And he'd be willing to go a lot further than that. Let your mind wander about what might he be hiding. And calling a phony summit meeting with Putin, that's nothing compared to what this guy might be willing to do to cover that all up. If this doesn't work, who knows what's next? Maybe he uses the military against American citizens somewhere, even more than he has. Maybe he incites a phony insurrection somewhere in the country so he can send the military in. Who knows? There's no telling what he would be willing to do to cover this up. But that's what this summit meeting is. It's a cover-up, pure and simple. Don't take the bait. Don't fall for it. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Focus. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.